explaining ourselves, right? If you are in an authoritarian regime, they don't have to explain anything. They might lie. They might have a sham election. Even life-tenured judges go through this process of explaining how and why they ruled, right? They don't have to. You could just issue the result. But in many ways, we live in that part of a legal tradition in the country that on its good days works for the reasons you just said. And what we're facing now is something quite different, which is someone not coming in and saying, here's my best argument, here's the case, let the judge or the jury decide. No, people coming in saying, well, maybe we'll just bomb the building, or maybe we'll stage so much literal violence around it that the jury is afraid. And the jury is made of people. And people, understandably, get afraid. And that's why violence works. I mean, we have to be, I think, quite clear about that. Ms. Cheney writes in detail in her book about the very serious threats she faced, the security steps she had to take. And like Vice President Pence and others, she had to take them because of Donald Trump, because of what he said and did and asked of people. And that's why he's, as you've covered, under a lot of scrutiny in his court cases for the same maneuvers against the courts. So I say that as quite a literal step towards you highlighting for us what you've been reading and writing about in the Jack Smith case. What do you think is important in the recent filings, the so-called clues of the blueprint and the evidence for that trial?
Yes, so there's a little bit of irony in Jack Smith's most recent filing, Ari. This is the pleading where he has to disclose to the court some of the evidence he intends to use to prove Trump's motive and intent and the lack of mistake in what we saw him engage in on January 6th. So all of this stuff that Trump has been doing, these anti-democratic moves, his effort to treat the January 6th rioters like they're patriots, Jack Smith, I think, will shove all of that, back down his throat, to be pretty clear about what I think will go on. Smith has advised the court he intends to use evidence of Trump's conduct, of his denials about fairness of the elections in the United States from as early as 2012 and 2016 to show that Trump was always going to say that there was fraud involved in the election if he lost, but that by the same token, he would accept the result if he won. And that's the sort of fundamental contradiction that Jack Smith can put in front of a jury and then leave them to make their own decision about whether Donald Trump really believed he had won the election and there was fraud. I think it's a remarkable case that Trump himself has handed over to Jack Smith.
All really striking on the big picture and then the law. Joyce, thank you so much tonight.
Thanks, Ari.